Everybody, and thank you all for joining us tonight. This is a meeting of the Grants Committee where we'll be discussing the various applications that the Town Council has received for a community grant. I'm Anita Collier, and as Mayor, I will be chairing this evening's meeting. Just to remind you, we do have people online zooming in, and of course we are also recording on YouTube, and we have people in the room as well, so I would ask those people in the room to use the microphones to speak, otherwise people online can't hear you. The emergency exits are in the rear corner of this room, and the assembly point is in the far corner of the car park. Toilets are at the very end of the corridor here on the right, and just by the lift next to that, there is an accessible toilet as well. We've got teas and coffees outside and glasses of water, so please help yourself and keep yourself refreshed throughout the evening. Tonight, Sian will manage the minutes. Becca will look after the IT, participant setting and the questions board. And Hannah will provide us with information and guidance around the applications as we come to each one. So for those councillors on Zoom, could you please use the yellow hand? I think it might be just you, Fiona. Hi, welcome. For anyone else, please ask questions through the Q&A board. Item 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence and declarations. So, Sian, do we actually have any apologies?
Hello, yes, we've just got apologies from Fiona, who can't be with us in person tonight, but she is on screen, so we'll all wave.
Okay. So we just need, I think, to ratify that. So all in favour? Yeah, that's, I think, you could say that's unanimous, Fiona. And are there any declarations of interest, which is the next point we come to? Anne?
Yes, Anita, I'm a trustee of Share Froome, and we are going to be in collaboration with Adventure with Froome Base. So I will leave the room when that one is discussed.
Lovely, thank you very much. Anyone else?
So I'm also a director of Share, a trustee, I beg your pardon, of Share. So for the same reason, I'll withdraw for that one. There are also 3 others that I feel conflicted about. So Frog Life, Adventure we've mentioned, Froome Festival where I'm a director, and Froome Dissenters Cemetery where I'm rather good friends with the applicant.
Thank you. So we don't knock too many others out, otherwise we won't have any left on the list. Sorry, Becca. Okay, thank you, Fiona.
I can't vote tonight, and obviously I can't leave the room either, but I have done some freelance work with Adventure, so they are pecuniary interests, so I will just not say anything when that one is discussed.
Okay. All right, that's fine, thank you. And just so that you know, when these councillors have declared an interest, basically what happens is they are allowed to speak on the topic perhaps, but they cannot be in here when the debate is taking place. They would have to leave the room, and nor can they vote. So that's the way it works. Item 2 on the agenda, and this is common to all our council meetings, as some of you may know, is questions and comments from the public and councillors. So other than specifically these applications, is there anything anybody would like to raise? Tracy?
I'll raise it at full council in March as well. Just could we make a note about the side door when there's a meeting for accessibility? It has been brought to my attention a couple of times that it's locked or it's shut or whatever, but then there isn't a response to the buzzer, which is important for people to be able to attend.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anyone? No? All happy? Good. Item 3 on the agenda, what we'd like to put forward is a proposal that we've come up with for future applications for grants to actually include a short listing process. Because this year, as you know, we've got a limited pot every time we run a grants round. This year, we were quite overwhelmed by the number of applications. And as you can imagine, it takes an awfully long time to consider all of them and give them, make sure that they're treated in a worthy way. So we figured that probably the best thing to do would be to shortlist, and then we can go through it after that. So that will probably be the way we'll consider it during the next time it arises. Hannah, can you just give an overview really of what this is all about?
Yeah, I think you did it beautifully, Anita. That's the
Sorry, didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's fine. Yeah, the recommendation is just to approve that when applications hit a certain number or level of complexity in future rounds, that the committee can introduce a shortlisting process prior to the committee meeting. So the recommendation is to agree the introduction of a shortlisting stage to the Grants Committee decision-making process for future rounds of the FTC Community Grant Fund.
Okay, so could we take a vote? Who's going to propose that, Tracy? And to second, all in favour? Lovely, thank you.
Susie's got a question. Have we got a mic that we can pass her?
You, Sue.
Hi, I just wanted to clarify, when you say a shortlisting stage, are you proposing that you make an initial application form much shorter, and then once everybody's submitted those, then you invite other people to do a second stage application? Or are you saying that we, as applicants, still put in as much work, but then you shortlist?
That's yours, Hannah, I think.
Yeah, so there wouldn't be two rounds of the same application. It would be that based on the scoring system, the applications as they are would be shortlisted. So,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
the second option.
Okay, item 4, we have this year run a pilot scheme for a young person's participatory grant. And they've awarded several grants already to local organisations, and some of the panel are present here tonight, where we will, as the Grants Committee, will actually ratify the awards that they've made. So welcome, young people. Lovely to have you in the room. And Melody Hunter-Evans, our Children and Young People's Officer, that's you, will explain how it works. So over to you, Melody.
Oh, there we go, it's working. We're going to stay here. I don't want to go and stand at the front or anything. If everyone's all right and can hear me with the microphone, I hope that's okay. So we've been really excited this year to try something different and to try our U panel, our Young People's Grant panel. It's been an amazing kind of process to be part of. And I'm going to just give you a really, really short overview of kind of how we got there. I'll be doing a bigger kind of conversation at the next council meeting, so you can ask lots more questions of me then. But at the beginning of this year, academic year in September, we reached out to all of our local schools, particularly kind of our middle schools. We were interested in working with our year 8s, and reached out as well to our home education community to get some interest in coming along to a kind of whole day co-design workshop. These young people, along with lots of others from some of the schools and from Critchell as well, came to do a session in this room and worked with lots of local but also some national funders who have young people's panels to give us some really good ideas about what we could do in Frome. They then went away and we did lots of co-design together, and with lots of interest from those other people, kind of came up with the bones of what our U grant was going to look like. So the things that were most important to fund for young people in Frome, the things that they thought were missing, and the process they would go through to make decisions together and make it fair. All of those young people that came to that workshop were then invited to write an application to be part of the panel. And our panel has 9 young people on it from different schools across Frome. And The panel have been meeting all the way up to kind of Christmas to make decisions about how the application process was going to work, the questions that we wanted answered, how much money was going to be given to different people, how the decisions were going to be made. It's been incredible, and you've done an incredible job. Really proud of everything that we've achieved. We put the grant out just before Christmas and had the applications in. The young people then went through a shortlisting process, which was very hard. And then invited all of the applicants that got through that process to an interview. It was really important to us, wasn't it, that we met people and we asked questions and we were able to have a think about it with the people that were coming in to ask for the grant money. And after some difficult decisions, we did award the grants. We're really excited to list the grants that we've got later in a second. And also just incredibly privileged to work with those young people and to see how they tackled thinking about making things democratic, making things fair, how the money should be spent, but also making sure that they were asking their peers as well. So not only did we have those sessions with that smaller group, we also went back out when we were shortlisting to all of the schools and did assemblies and more voting. So spoke to kind of nearly 400 students across Frome at that point as well, just to make sure that we were on the right track. I think it's just been a really beautiful process. I won't talk for much longer because actually it's more important that you hear from these guys. They're very bravely, I'm going to say a sentence about like how it was for them, and then I'm going to list out our grants that we've awarded, if that's okay.
Lovely, thank you, Melody.
Amazing. Who would like to go first?
During the project, I really like having a role in representing young people. I enjoyed working together as a team, and I look forward to seeing what the organisations have done with the money in the summer.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed working together as a group and seeing how the project has evolved. I look forward to seeing the project soon, and I'm glad to have represented the young people of Frome in this exciting new project.
Lovely, thank you.
I really enjoyed participating in this, and I loved the way we all did it together, and I also want to see how the organisation during the summer with the money.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, for all the work you've done. Maybe we've got future councillors over there.
I absolutely think so. What I didn't mention as well as part of the process is that we are also inviting all of the organisations that we funded as part of this to come back to see us in the summer. We're having a celebration event, not just to celebrate the young people and how amazing they've been, the schools for supporting us in this, but also want to invite back those organisations to find out how they've been doing with that money. So kind of coming back and doing that evaluation, but in person with a party and some food and maybe some music
Wonderful.
as well. You know,
Closing the loop. That's lovely.
When we talk about seeing them again in the summer and finding out what they've been doing with it, that's what we're talking about. We're going to invite everyone back in to see us at a later date as well. So, yes, we are absolutely delighted. Are you happy for me to do this bit? Do you guys want to know? Okay. Okay, we're really delighted to announce the following awards for ratification by Grants Committee. So, Focus Frome, who we've got in the room. Hey, guys. Have been awarded £2,000 for their free drop-in sessions and self-help guides for children and young people struggling with mental health in Frome. Vallis Farm Education Centre are wanting to start a new youth club with safe access to outdoors, so young people can access a youth club setting but out on the farm to be able to explore the space that they've got up there. They've also been awarded £2,000 to get that started. Rainbow Flow have got some amazing ideas about some creative workshops for young people aged 9 to 14. The panel awarded them £500 to do some consultation with young people to make sure that we've got the right ideas for all the workshops. So they're going to be working with young people in the schools to get that started. We saw Purple Elephant and have awarded them £2,000 to continue the Tea and Toasty session that happens at the Good Heart. This is a free and open, safe space for young people after school. with an application from Fusion Lifestyle with the charity attached to the leisure centre, who want to offer free swimming lessons to year twos across Frome, so children who wouldn't be able to pay for those lessons to get really vital kind of water safety lessons in there. So there are £2,000 going towards free swimming lessons for children in Frome as well. And they also awarded 1,500 to Youth Production Network, CIC, for Frome Pride community event in the summer. And I know we've got some people here from there as well. So really excited to be able to support the Frome Pride event as well.
Thank you very much, Melody. Some wonderful causes in there, I think. So well done, everybody who was on the receiving end. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Hi, it's great to see you all again. Anne and myself, we had the privilege of attending the interviews across the road at the Merlin, and I have to say that it was one of the most impressive and one of the most enjoyable events I've attended as a councillor. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. We're very excited to think about how this progresses and doing this again in the future as well.
Lovely, thank you. Are you happy to stay for the length of the thing?
I think we might go.
Because there was talk about maybe a photograph. I don't know if you guys want to do a quick 2-minute photograph or not. Or would you like to have a photograph with the Grants Committee?
I know you.
No. Yes. No. Yeah. Would you all mind if we took just literally 1 minute out to have a photo with the young people before they disappear? Would that be all right?
Do you want to quickly ratify their decision before we do that? Yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry, I beg your pardon. We missed a vital bit there, which was to ratify.
We've got to give the money away at some point, Anita.
Okay. All in favour? Absolutely. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melody. And thank you, all you young people. Good job.
Should we do a quick photo and then come back?
I'll go with this one second. Sure? Yeah. Does it look
Yeah, just the two.
Why don't they stand in front and I'll stand up?
Oh, yeah, so maybe out in the corridor.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
If you're being in the photo, you have to be outside because I'll be on camera. So if you are going to be in the photo, then it's outside. Okay.
That's kind. Thanks. No, I've just accidentally answered some.
And also,
That's not read it in detail. I thought the doors were automatically locked, which is the side door. Unless somebody's been leaving it on the latch. Unless it's right. That's the side door. Did you know the code,
Thank you very much indeed for indulging us for those couple of minutes. So, onwards and upwards. So, item 5, we've now come to the actual applications for the community grant that we received. For this round, a participatory panel was introduced. Emily, also one of our community engagement officers, will explain a little bit more about that. So, Emily, over to you.
Hi, thanks. Sorry, I thought I was going to miss my slot then for a minute. I was getting a bit worried. Okay, so hi everyone, my name's Emily. I'm in the communities team here at Frome Town Council. And I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to tell you about a pilot project that we ran alongside this grants round. So we recognise the importance of grants, obviously, to all of your work. And in growing community well-being, and we know it's tough out there. So, of course, we always want to learn and improve this process and make the application process as equitable and accessible as possible. And obviously, as well in our work, we are always striving to broaden the range of voices in the room and reduce barriers to participation. So, with all of that in mind, we decided to pull together a grants advisory panel of local residents with a range of lived experience and perspectives to help us with this process. So the idea was to bring a diverse voices into the process, to align funding with community needs, and to shine a light on the application process itself. So you would have seen this reflected in the application form as well this year, because we asked an additional question around equality, diversity and inclusion for you to think about in relation to your projects and your work. So what did the Grants Advisory Panel actually do? So effectively they mirrored the process that the councillors go through. So over several weeks they received training on the scoring process. They made declarations of interest in the same way that councillors do. They scored applications against our priorities. They met with some of the councillors on the grants committee to feed back about the applications and to formulate, in conjunction with councillors, some questions for applicants that many of you will have received and responded to. So subsequently, the panel scores were collated and shared with the grants committee to inform their discussions about this current round. So as you know, final funding decisions are being made here in the room tonight. So the work of the panel was advisory, but personally I feel the process has been invaluable in providing fresh perspectives, not only on the applications themselves, but on the entire process that we have here. And I think, the kind of major bit of feedback that we received from the panel was that it's a really difficult process. I'm sure councillors will agree. So we're going to be evaluating this and looking at all the learning over the next few weeks, and I'll feed back more on the 25th of March at the council meeting. But I just wanted to say some of the panel members are here with us tonight to see the process through. And I wanted to say a really huge thanks for all of your work, insight and patience in this process. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you to everybody who was on that Grants Advisory Committee. It was really useful, as the Grants Committee, for us to be able to compare notes. So a really useful thing to undergo. Thank you, everybody. I think now what we need to talk about is the fact that we have been well oversubscribed in this round, as I think we've probably mentioned. So it really is going to be impossible to fund everybody who has applied. I think we need to set that expectation quite clearly. So what we're going to begin to do is to look at the whole list of all the applications, and we'll go through initially just to decide whether they will be able to be funded during this round in some way. Once that decision of yay or nay has been made, we will then go back through the ones that we can fund somehow to decide whether or not we'll be able to fund it in full or just partially. So that's the way it's going to work this evening. And, it doesn't matter whether any of us want to fund these at all. We are just simply unable to on this occasion. So what I would say to people is if you aren't successful in this round, nothing stopping you applying for the next grants round. So let's begin with, we're going to take them in the order in which they arrived. And we'll hear a little bit about each one of them as we go through. It starts with the Wessex MS Therapy Centre, who are asking for £3,000. Hannah.
Yeah, do we have anyone from Wessex MS Therapy Centre here online? No. Okay, so part of the reason we send questions out in advance is so that if people can't come to the meeting, then they've got a chance to respond to them. So Wessex MS Therapy Centre were asking for some money for neurophysiotherapy sessions for the Frome residents that they cater to. And so they're asking for £3,000, and the panel asked the question to confirm how many full-time equivalent staff were employed, and they responded by email to say that they had 1 full-time member of staff, the CEO, and 8 part-time employees.
So now we have to think about whether or not this one can be funded on this round. So thoughts, anyone?
Kick off as the microphone gets going. Hello?
Yeah, you've got it. It's there.
That's all right. Let's use this one. Is this one working? Yeah, now I can hear me. I read through this one in some detail a couple of times to try and just get the context of it, but I feel in the current climate it's something that seems to be already operating reasonably successfully and has done for a number of years, and I wasn't quite sure what the desperate need of our money was at this stage.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts on this one? So should we put this one as on the back burner for now and say it's not really possible this time around? Would everybody be happy to do that?
Fiona's got her hand up.
I was just going to say in response to what Andy just said is that I think what was interesting about a number of the applications is that they were from a number of charities that might have previously had other funding, but clearly that funding is now not there, which is why they're coming to us. And I think what stood out for me in a number of the applications is how much work that is so essential is being done by these organisations that are clearly really struggling, and how much of this work that I think we would all think should be funded in a different way, but it's clearly not, so they're coming to us. I do think, given that it's only 18% of the people who use the centre live in Frome, that to me is the sort of the thing that makes me think that
it was quite a big influence.
Yeah. That maybe this is one to leave, but they're clearly doing incredible work.
It's very hard, isn't it, to turn anybody down, but I think really there seems to be the feeling that this might be one that we're happy to let go on this occasion. Are we going to vote on that now, please?
If you're going to vote to not fund, then you should vote.
Yes, yes. Can we just...
Propose that we don't fund.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favour? Okay, thank you. The next one on the list is Somerset Arts Works, who also were looking for £3,000.
Okay, so Somerset Artworks, is there anyone here? Carol? Yep, so working in partnership with YMCA, Frome Youth Club, they've applied to provide workshops led by artists and designers to work with young people to develop skills to design and produce creative products to sell in the community at the Frome Independent Market and pop-up shop. And so you've had some questions already from the panel, which I'll repeat here and you can answer in person. The invitation is to answer just the questions rather than to, go off on too many tangents. Sorry. Oh, that's an old hand, yeah. So the questions were, have you approached Frome Independent Market to confirm you can sell at their event? And what alternative markets are you considering for selling? Shall I read all three questions out at the same time? Or...
Shall I answer them one at a time?
Sure.
I haven't. I have previously talked to them about other community projects, so I'm well aware of how they're set up to help charities. So at this point, I wasn't being over-optimistic about the level of funding that we would achieve for the project. But obviously, we're looking for match funding at this point. But yes, no, I have been in contact with them in the past, but I am waiting for the final budgets to settle on this project before sending that email.
Great. And then the second two are kind of linked, so I'll ask them both at the same time. One is, will the young people be awarded a share of any profits made, and if so, how much? And how will the profits from the sales be distributed?
So the word sales doesn't really apply because we're a charity and YMCA have a trading arm. So the monies that are achieved will be rolled back into the project to deliver further workshops for the next foreseeable future. Depending on how much is achieved. But it's really the experience where the concentration is on working with the designers and the artists and develop the skills. But also the idea of talking about your ideas to a public, whether it's just your friends and family, but a wider audience.
Thank you. I might kick off on this one actually, because as mayor, I declared right at the beginning of my year that one of my areas of focus was going to be on children and young people. So I start with a biased viewpoint in that anything that is out there for young people, I'm all in favour of. But any other views, please?
I like the entrepreneurial aspect of this application. So vocational training for the young people to enable them to have a creative career, if you like. I like that aspect.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts? What would you like to do with this one? Are we going to say it would be considered?
Fiona's got her hand up.
Fiona, sorry.
I was just going to say I agree. I really liked it. I do feel slightly uncomfortable with the young people themselves not getting anything back. Financially, I think that's sort of something that to me would feel really important, that they then get that they're then able to see that they could make money in this way if that's what they wanted to do, and that there was some return on their effort. So I do feel quite uncomfortable with that. But generally speaking, I mean, like Anita, it's young people, it's entrepreneurial creativity. I think it's brilliant. But I do feel uncomfortable with that.
Okay, thank you.
I propose that we put this into the potentially funded pile.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I like the idea. I'm not sure that the model really works for me, and I'm not sure whether or not, as it stands, it's sustainable. But I think it's worthy of discussion. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is pull this one in tonight, and then we'll decide later how much funding should be allocated, if any, to it. Okay. Thank you. Next on the list is Frog Life, asking for 2,415, and Andy will now leave the room. Thanks.
Just to say as well, we'll take the other applications that Andy has to be out of the
Yeah,
for.
they won't be in order, but we will take all the ones rather than keep Andy going backwards and forwards like a yo-yo. Okay.
Is anyone from Frog Life here or online? Don't think so. Okay. So Frog Life is Somerset Green Pathways for Life project, which enables people living with dementia and their carers to get active outdoors and engage with the natural world. So spending time in nature has proven benefits for people with dementia, and through their work they aim to find win-wins for people and nature by making real-world improvements to green spaces for people and wildlife species. So they did have some questions which I can share the answers to. One was, do you have plans to open up more green spaces to provide more access to this service? The answer for that was that they're always looking for new green spaces to work with in our groups, and they have some potential new sites for 2026. Working at a variety of sites is useful as it enables them to do more tangible nature conservation work, create ponds and learn about new places. They've approached the Mayday Saxonvale team with an idea of creating a community garden space. Oh, not all confirmed, so please don't share. Redact. Oops. Good job, nobody's watching. Pretend you never heard that. And so I'll move swiftly on to the second question. Do you receive funding from any dementia-based charities? Just going to scan ahead. They do not currently receive funding from any dementia-based charities. They have in the past been supported by foundations and trusts. They continue to look for suitable grants from all sources. They've got good links with Somerset branch of Alzheimer's Society, who do a lot of signposting to them. And then have they approached any other local dementia organisations with a view to collaborating? So they've got a good relationship with all the local dementia organisations. We have always been an active member of Frome Dementia Action Alliance, and have previously collaborated on publicity during Dementia Action Week. And they're in regular contact with the Excellent Songs for the Memory team, and we'll visit them soon.
Thank you, Hannah. I have to say this is really good, because one of the things we've been talking about for a long, long time to applicants is to say, check out who else is working in your field, because sometimes collaboration means that you can apply jointly and you might do better with funding. So really good to hear that people are actually in partnerships already with all sorts of things. So let's discuss. Anne.
I was really interested when I was reading this application, because it starts talking about frogs and amphibians and newts, and I was thinking, oh, what's going on here? And it's only later on that you realise that it's actually encouraging people with dementia and their carers to get out into green spaces. So I found that quite confusing, but having said that, I really like the idea.
Thank you. I'm very much in favour, I must say. Steve?
Yeah, and I'm as well. I think sort of everyone I know seems to be touched in one way or another by someone with this. And I do think we should look to fund something.
Support it in some way.
Very much.
Yeah. Everybody in favour? Somebody proposing?
Oh, no. Don't vote.
Also, Fiona's got her hand up.
Sorry, Fiona, I'm
It's
so
okay,
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll try waving. That might be a bit easier.
Just shout.
Maybe that's the way to do it. I'm in favour of this, not just because it mentions allotments, but partly obviously because it mentions allotments. But just as Steve said, it's it's not just about the medical care; it's about the quality of life. So much of what so many of these charities do is about supporting people to have a good quality of life through really difficult times, and I just think that's really important. So I think, if I was in the room, I'd wanted to go in the pile to be considered later down the line.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so next up is Dorothy House Hospice. Oh, sorry, it's not. Sorry.
Are we going to vote?
It's on the pile for, sorry, yeah. It's on the pile for would like to fund.
Yeah.
So skipping forward then to Frome Festival.
This is because it's Andy's, one of Andy's.
Here we go. So the application from Frome Festival is for £3,000 as they prepare for their 25th anniversary programme on Friday the 3rd to Sunday the 12th of July. Amongst a bumper programme of arts activities of all shapes and sizes, the Frome Festival team are planning 2 projects and a programme of activities that celebrate this local spirit and the story of Frome Festival. So it's a silver anniversary chorus and then also some money to fund their free and low cost events. Is anyone from Frome Festival here? Hi. So you had 2 questions. Are you happy to answer them in the flesh? So one was, how many Frome-based musicians and artists will be involved? Is there a microphone we can share?
Hi, Lockhart Murdoch, co-chair of Froome Festival, along with Andy, my fellow co-chair, actually. I think that's almost impossible to answer because there will be dozens, if not hundreds, of Froome musicians. Froome Symphonies on the final Sunday. There'll be people performing at the Independent Market on the Sunday. We curate because the market coincides with the festival, we're curating that. We have lots of venues. Christchurch will have classical recitals every lunchtime, etc. So Lottie's with jazz, you name it. There'll be lots and lots of local musicians involved.
Great. And I think that question was also specifically about the choir performance. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, that could take a while to explain. So I think if you do shortlist us for inclusion, I could talk to that a lot further. But basically, we want to stage an event at Trinity Church performing Duke Ellington's Sacred Chorus, which is a jazz chorus. And of course, we have lots of jazz musicians in Froome. Ian Ballamy's got a big involvement in hoping to bring this about, but lots of others. And we hope to engage all the community choirs, but we also need to engage certain professional singers and a professional conductor to stage the thing. But Duke Ellington's Festival Chorus is a mega event that's been staged in lots of places around the world, of course, and here we have an opportunity to do it ourselves.
Great, thank you. And then there's one other question, which is how much is being allocated to pay professional musicians and artists?
Oh gosh, those numbers are there on the form, aren't they? I don't have them off.
I can tell you what your answer was.
Well, there you are. Thank you. See me looking at the form. Yes.
It was £8,900 covered in the budget under artist fees.
Yeah. But of course, we're only seeking a fraction of that.
Okay, any thoughts, anyone? Philip?
I had very mixed, and I still have very mixed views on this. I can see what the Froome Festival Committee are trying to achieve. I can see some of the benefits, I think, that are built into this. I think the application seems to point much more towards the choir than lots of the events that have just been mentioned. And I think one of the things I raised, and they were raised by the panel and the committee, were, how many Froome people would be involved? Because at the end of the day, we're using your money, Froome's money, to give to an organisation to have impact within the community. So it's that balance, I think, that I'm sitting a little bit uneasy with at this stage.
Yes? Similar thinking? Fiona?
I think Froome Festival is absolutely brilliant. I love it every year. It brings so much to our town, not just in terms of sort of economic benefit, but in terms of culture and bringing people together. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. I thought the application was really strong. And unfortunately, I think that given how little money we have to give in grants tonight, and knowing some of the other applications that we've had, personally, I think that there's other ones where I think the money could be better spent in this specific instant. And it's heartbreaking for me to say that, but I just think that there's other causes in here that I think maybe where the need is greater. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that the Froome Festival and what you're proposing is brilliant. I do. It's just where we're at with the budget that we have. That's what I think.
And I think the thing I appreciated about this application is we've been asking for quite a long time that Froome Festival is opened up to people on low incomes, and I really appreciate the idea of more and more of the events being at low cost or even free, and I really do appreciate that.
Okay, but I mean, personally, I think the Froome Festival, for me, is one of the highlights of the Froome year. So I love it. It was a really good application, but we need to really take a vote on whether we want to. Yes, of course, Lockhart.
There we are, sorry, hi. I just want to say, firstly, Froome Festival is delivered on a shoestring. It's unbelievable what we deliver for the money we have. And the staff are paid peanuts, like £15 an hour for the director, stuff like that. All these events that are free or low cost, they're not free to deliver. They may be free to attend, and we do target groups to try and make things free, like the Children's Theatre in Victoria Park, this and that. We do lots of free events, but they're not free to put on. We believe that Frome Festival brings loads of economic benefits to the town, to the venues, to employment, to hotels, to restaurants. And if you don't put any money into it at all, it shows a disregard for what the festival is delivering for the town. We really need this money. We are struggling. And I would, if you shortlist it, I would like to explain more about our finances.
I certainly hear you, Lockhart, and it's a heartbreaking story, I grant you. And I think there's nobody in this room that probably doesn't absolutely love the festival. The challenge we've got, as you know, is out of 28 applicants, all with worthy causes who are seeking help. It's very, very hard. But we have to make a decision of some sort. So I'm just going to go around the table and see what the thoughts are. Tracy, would you like to?
Yeah. I think give me bread and give me roses. I will not be voting to put this one out. I'll be voting to put this one through.
Okay, thank you. Philip?
I have to say that quite admirably, Frome Festival a couple of rounds ago, maybe last year or the year before, actually applied rather than for direct funding for events, actually apply for some money to employ part-time fundraiser. And that model has worked really, really well. Because I know Adam and I had discussions about this before it was presented. When I look at this, yes, Frome Festival delivers an awful lot. The application quite clearly states Silver Anniversary Celebrations Community Choir Project and Exhibition. So on that basis, I don't think I would be voting to put it through.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not fund this one.
Okay. I'm really, really torn on this. I would desperately love to give something, however small, just as a token, really, to say that we support the festival, because for me it is. I mean, particularly as mayor, I love what it brings to the town. I think it's one of the most exciting things that goes on throughout the year, and it may be that we end up with a pittance compare with what you're looking for, but I would like to do something. Steve?
I echo exactly what I was going to say, exactly what you've just said.
Okay.
So I'd like to see if we can do something, even if it's a small amount. I think the festival is one of the cornerstones of Frome's year.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Fiona, because we can't take your thoughts into consideration on the vote here, but it looks as though we have currently 3-2 to put it in for reconsideration, further consideration. So, yes. Okay. Yeah. So we just go to the next one now, and I think we've got Frome Dissenters Cemetery on, haven't we, Hannah? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So this is Frome Dissenters Cemetery. Is anyone here from Frome Dissenters? It's Lockhart, sorry.
You get everywhere, Lockhart.
Okay, so this is a project, so they have over 240 infant and stillborn graves, mostly in one area of the cemetery and unmarked with any tombstone, marker or memorial. So at the time of these burials, unbaptized infants were not permitted to be buried in the Church of England graveyards. So the Dissenters Cemetery allowed a place for their remains to be interred and for grieving parents to have a burial and consecrated burial place. So they would like to mark these graves with a suitable memorial and monument which would commemorate them and offer comfort to all who have lost infant or stillborn children. And they're asking for £1,500 of a total cost of £3,250. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Any thoughts? Anne?
This one made me cry. Yeah. In a good way, if that's possible. I think the idea of having a specific memorial where people can go to grieve their lost child or unborn child, I think Yes, I liked this application.
I must say I agree with you. I think it was a heartbreaking thing to read, and not to be too sentimental. Yes, it's one of those things that we probably don't share enough over, really. So, yes, I liked it. I liked the application very much. Any thoughts, Philip?
Yeah, I think this is one of the forgotten areas in Frome, and I think it's really important in some way to mark it as it has and to remember it as well. When I was mayor, that chain over there, I was treated to a tour of Dissenters Cemetery, and I have to say, having been in Frome at that time, about 38 years, I'd never set foot in it. But what really impresses me about the people that are involved with it is their passion and their commitment on basically running it on virtually nothing.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think it's worthy of something.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know Jim Parsons, who has worked for many years, dedicated to the Dissenters Cemetery, put out a heartbreaking appeal just this morning for help with the tidying up because, bless him, he's not getting any younger and he's really, really struggling now and desperately needs help with this. So I think it should be maybe something we could take forward to discuss more. Any thoughts? Yeah, all happy? Good. So now we've got one which is going to affect you as well, Anne, I think. So if you want to disappear with Andy, are we for it? Yeah, I think so. And then we're going to discuss adventure, and then we'll call you back in. Hannah.
Yeah. Great. So this is Adventure Frome, applying for funding £3,000 to fund Frome Base. So a building materials surplus and reuse store developed by Adventure Frome to reduce waste, support affordability and strengthen the local circular economy. And over the past few months, Frome Base has operated as a pop-up initiative from Adventure's premises, and they've now secured an accessible ground floor industrial space for the store from February on a year-long lease, allowing the project to open regularly to the public and scale its impact.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Were there questions? Oh, yes, sorry. There were some questions. Is anyone from Adventure here or online? No, Sam couldn't make it. No, okay. So the question was around how the workshops are to be supervised and how you plan to ensure that the materials are used or of good quality and are stored correctly. And we had a very comprehensive answer, which I won't go into in lots of detail, but they were very clear about how all that would take place, and you've all had sight of those. But it's about 4 pages long, so I'll save that.
I mean, very entrepreneurial setup, I have to say, Adventure. So, right, let's have some thoughts.
My thoughts here were that as a project, I think it's worthy. When the share shop closed, I remember having discussions with various people about it, and I was pleased that it closed. But I'll qualify that because I was talking about and had various conversations with people about pausing it. Not getting rid of it, not closing it, but pausing it, because sometimes there is a danger for organizations to carry on beyond what is the sell-by date, and the risk is that they go too far and they just collapse and never come back. And the share shop actually stopped, paused, and said, we'll be back another day. So I think this initiative of linking that with materials and recycling and so on, and helping people, particularly on low income, who can then make use of materials and things like that, I think, could be very, it will be very, very beneficial.
I think, well, there's certainly a growing interest in that area of reuse and repurposing and those sorts of things. So, yeah, there's an awful lot to be said for it. Any other thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I sort of echo what Philip said, really. I mean, the share shop was great when it was open, and I think if it can come back in a slightly different form, working with Adventure, who we know, as you said before, are very entrepreneurial, I do think it's worthy of us considering. Quite frankly.
Okay, so happy to put that on the consideration pile? Yeah? Okay. Could we call back in Anne and Andy, please? So we can go back to the original listing now.
Can we make a polite request at this break for no talking over the announcements of the grant introduction, so the grant councillors can concentrate?
I think, were we coming to Dorothy House? I think that's next on the list.
Dorothy House is next.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back, guys.
Okay, back to the beginning.
Just to let you know, there were votes in favour of everything you went out for further consideration. So we're now on Dorothy House.
Okay, so Dorothy House Hospice, is there anybody here or online representing them? Sorry, just have to multitask with the online thing. It doesn't look like it. So we have Dorothy House Hospice who are asking for £3,000, and this is for their coffee connection at the Cheese and Grain in Frome. So it's a lifeline for people affected by life-limiting illness or bereavement, and it runs every Tuesday. They're outgrowing their space. So they say attendance has reached 380 for the 25-26 period and reflecting growing demand. So they want to secure funding for a larger venue or expanded area to meet the demand. And the questions that were put to them were, can you clarify whether the figure at 380 is the number of attendances at a coffee morning or whether that's 380 individuals? Do the plans include branching out to another venue and retain the sessions in the Cheese and Grain Cafe? Or were they looking at an entirely new venue? And as they currently use the cafe area, is that free to use? So the answer to the numbers was 380 is the number of attendances and over 10 months. So that is not necessarily 380 different people. And they are able to stay at the Cheese and Grain, but that could change at any time. And they do use the cafe, but with some of those who attend, there's a feeling of pressure to purchase something, and some of those who are supported are on low incomes and cost of living. We would like to be able to have a small amount of funding where we provide those attending with a drink as part of their attendance, so it makes it more equitable and no pressure around this. And there was another question around volunteering, and they said that they've got a volunteer and band 4 staff member at each meeting, so 1 staff member, 1 volunteer.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually at Dorothy House earlier this week. And I know that they have absolutely no problem getting volunteers, I know that, but they were talking about the cafe. Looking for bigger premises, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But,
I'm so sorry. Actually, Katrina is online. Sorry, Katrina, I was looking in the wrong place. And she's responded online. Katrina, did you want to? I can allow you to speak so that you can tell us live if you would like to.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I am community engagement lead for Dorothy House, and I've been supporting the Coffee Connection the last 5 weeks because our volunteer's been away and because I've taken on Frome as a new area. We've had over 20 participants every week, and I'm aware that the owner of the Cheese and Grain had asked us to go upstairs to a room, which the attendees didn't like. There was no windows. So he said we could go back downstairs, but if the numbers continue to grow, then we will need to find somewhere else. And with the numbers over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think this Tuesday we had 24 people attend, and there was 5 regulars that weren't there. So I think we feel that there is going to come a time that he's going to have to say that we've got to find another location, which would be awful because the venue is amazing. And the feedback from the attendees is just, I went around the room this week and just asked what it meant to them, and just that space and having somewhere safe to go, and just if people can't afford a drink, that we can offer to buy them a drink, because that is a huge barrier to some people.
So Lenka's just shared a note that she has offered the space at Fairfroom for free.
Oh. Who have you offered that to, or was that just an offer this evening?
No, ages ago. Do you want them? Can we share the mic? You're getting offers all over the place. I feel like I'm in an auctioneer's. Good Heart have offered to host it as well. Yeah, is that a...
Sorry, offers coming in from everywhere.
Murdoch from the Good Heart has just passed a note to say that they would happily host the session as well.
Okay. Fiona?
Sorry. That's great, thank you. But could I,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had, it was last year. I had someone said that you were looking for a space. And I don't know who I had some emails with, but I did offer our building behind the town hall. This is Lenka from Fairfroom. So we've got a hut behind the town hall and there's tea and coffee, and it's a really nice space.
are the chairs with arms? So I know when I've looked at venues in other areas, we have to have chairs with arms for the people to be able to get up and out of the chairs.
There are some with arms, yeah.
I think there was just when I've gone to look at other venues in other locations, there's but yeah, so there are chairs with arms. Would you be able to put your details in the chat if there's any other offers that I could take the details to? It might have been Lynn Porch you were speaking to.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, it might not be suitable, but we can both pass on our details.
We can connect you all.
We've got a sofa.
Showing off. Is that okay, Katrina, that we'll put you all in touch?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. If there's funding, if there's some funding available to support, this week there was 2 staff members as well. So it's just if there's any other funding that is available, that would be fantastic as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, having listened to that, sounds as if some of the problem might be on the way to a resolution, but clearly other things in the pipeline. So,
Fiona's
Fiona,
just say I think what it's great that Fairfroom and the Good Heart Cafe have offered the venue. Their budget for the project, it's still 2,207 on salaries, and the venue hire was only 1,900. So I don't want us to sort of discard it just because we think that the problem's solved, because I think that wouldn't be fair, and we don't know whether either of those options would work out. Personally, I just think, yes, Dorothy House are a fairly big charity, but this is something that is very, very local to Frome, and it's something, again, that is about connecting people who are going through incredibly tough times. To me, it would be a high priority, and I think it would be a really great thing to fund in some way, personally.
I know they work very closely with Y as well, which is our own local cancer charity, which is currently struggling and needs all the moral support as much as anything else.
Yeah, so we have the support we have a lovely Mo who volunteers from Y. So that's the relationship we have with Y. We have Mo that is their volunteer that supports us every week. He's fantastic.
Yes, I was hearing that in the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I first saw this, I thought, Dorothy House, national sort of organisation, why should we fund it? And then when you read the application more, as Fiona said, it is really, it's working with the people in Frome. So I actually think if we can do something, obviously the premises thing, that can be taken offline, but I think if we can do something, I think it'd be great.
I don't think there are many people in Frome who don't know someone who's taken advantage of Dorothy House at some stage for members of their family. So it has been incredibly supportive for us, I think.
What I've learned in the last few weeks, being very new to the area and going to the group, is that speaking to some of the patients that are part of Dorothy House that go to Frome, so we try and take the things out into the community rather than bringing them to the hospice. And what you're finding is people have made friends through that group, and then they go off together and do things, so they're not quite as lonely, and just trying to. So I do the Walking Through Grief group that I try and signpost to other things as well, and take a list of me what's on in Frome to try and encourage. Like if there are 2 people that have never met before, but after a few sessions, it's like, why didn't you try this group or try that group? And I just think it's a really nice way because they're there for similar reasons.
Okay.
Let's put it on the funding.
Put it on the, okay, we will come back to that one then, in that case.
Thank you.
It will be for further consideration.
I think it's sort of, I know probably repeating, but important to say, I don't think there's anything in any of these that any of us didn't feel wasn't deserving. All the applications are put together really well, and everybody, I think it's really difficult, isn't it? That's the point. We're going to have to let you set that at the beginning.
Job on the
Set that
council,
at the
to be
beginning.
honest.
Some of them have. We can't do it. Otherwise, everybody will have an amount that's not worth having.
The next one we've got is Holy Trinity Church, Frome. Yes? Oh, we hear you. I beg your pardon.
Okay, so yeah, we hear you applying for £3,000. So the primary services, the one-to-one counselling for adults and children affected by cancer. I think we all know, we hear you really well. They are here online. Lucy's here. So I'm going to do the allow to talk button and just reframe the questions, Lucy, that were put to you by the panel, which were, can you explain the current scope of your operation and what impact has your recent restructure had on existing operations? Are you happy to reply to those live?
Yep, I can, absolutely. And apologies that I can't be with you. I have caring responsibilities, which makes it really hard for me to be in the room tonight. So in terms of current scope of our operation, we provide specialist counselling and emotional support for children, young people, adults and families. Anyone who lives in Somerset, Bath and North East Somerset and Wiltshire, and anyone who is affected or bereaved by cancer or any life-threatening condition. And services are delivered through a mix of in-person counselling. We also work in schools, community spaces, workplaces, and we provide counselling by phone and online. Do you want me to do the other one as well?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. Do you want to, somebody want to
sorry,
ask
I'll
a
just
follow-up?
repeat what it was. Yeah, so it's what impact has your recent restructure had on existing operations?
So apologies because you had quite a long answer because there is quite a lot for us to talk about. So we have had a particularly difficult several years now where our fundraising has plateaued and demand for our help has been higher than ever. We have done several things to mitigate that. So we have paused new referrals, addressed our backlog of clients on our waiting list. We've undertaken an in-depth review and consultation to determine what it is that our community really want to help us plan for future development. We launched a new operational strategy and fundraising plan in April 24, which included restructuring our service team and allocating more resource to our one-to-one counselling, because that is what people come to us for, and that is what people really want at the point that they need a We Hear You service. And that enabled us to increase the number of people we were supporting through counselling and decrease the time people have to wait. However, in late 24 and through 2025, the fundraising landscape has deteriorated even further for many, many charities, both small and large. So even with kind of diversification and efficiencies, our income didn't recover at pace required. We've been using our reserves to protect our frontline services, but that approach is not sustainable for us going forwards. So we are in the process of adopting a model widely used by many other counselling charities in our region, where we will increase the number of counselling sessions delivered by our placement counsellors under kind of robust clinical governance. So we already have a small number of placement counsellors delivering sessions, and we'll be increasing that number. That preserves kind of the quality of our service, but also increases cost effectiveness and our workforce capacity. Just for context, because I know that you all know We Hear You very well, but you may not be aware that currently we are a team of 5 employees, which is the equivalent of 3.6 FTE.
Shall we take a look at each other? Because if
Fiona, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think people probably expected me to say something on this one. The reason, for anyone that doesn't know, the reason I'm not in the room tonight is that I've had a recent cancer diagnosis and have just started treatment. I don't want to swear, but it's tough. If it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if their waiting list was open, I would be on it. It is so necessary, and it's heartbreaking that they're struggling. More and more younger people are getting cancer, people whose lives are like still in progress, people who don't have strong safety nets, and people who are already financially insecure. And just what they offer is just absolutely brilliant. And if we could help them in some way, I would just be, I just think we should.
Thank you very much.
I don't think any of us is going to object to this going.
No, I've been involved since the very beginning when it was originally positive on cancer, positive action on cancer, and was chair of trustees for 12 years. So this is very close to my heart, and I think we know that they're very close to being in trouble, and I think it would be an absolute tragedy for the town if we lost their services. So I'm all for it. So are we happy to?
Yes, I was just going to say, I think maybe when we do a quick eyeball like that, if we all, as it were, know that we don't have particular questions about it, we might, it's very difficult. I don't want to silence anybody, but if we already feel very strongly that we are going to put something forward, then we'll perhaps cut the process a bit shorter by just saying that.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move on.
The timing suggestion, Tracy, we're 8 down and 21 to go.
Yeah. I think maybe it'd be quite nice if we can start to rattle through them a little bit because, you know, we should be 7 till 9 o'clock, but I can see it going way over if we're not careful. Let's see if we can speed things up a bit. Okay. Yeah. So we might go ahead and maybe have a quick yes or no from here on in. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. Okay, we've all read the applications thoroughly, so...
Lovely, fantastic. I don't think we need to say why we support things. I think what we need to do is say why we might have extra questions on something or want more information. We don't need to back up why we support because every single one of them has amazing reasons to support.
Yeah. Okay, so Holy Trinity Church, Frome. This is for the debt advice service. So to counsel and advise people who find themselves, for whatever reason, in unmanageable debt. Clients are provided with support and strategies for obtaining debt relief, and they can and do refer themselves from a wide cross-section of backgrounds to our team of volunteers via the church, the job centre, the food bank, citizens advice, or other avenues. They can be from any faith or none. Only the debt centre manager and the team of volunteers must be Christians. The amount requested is 3,000 out of total cost of just over 20,000. Is anyone from Holy Trinity? Yes, hi. So there were a couple of questions that were put to you. Are you happy to answer them live in person?
I'll try.
Yeah. So one was, can you clarify the Christians Against Poverty fee and what it includes?
Yeah, that's the fee. We partner with Christians Against Poverty and they do all the heavy lifting. So I visit clients in their home and gather all the information we need, and then we send it up to Bradford in West Yorkshire, and they then come back with a recommendation. And if it's something that they need to do, like apply for a debt relief order, they do it on the client's behalf.
Great, thank you. Do you work closely with other similar local organisations?
We work with as many people as we can. We refer to the food bank for food parcels and for school uniforms, to the furniture bank and to Rotary when it comes to carpeting. And also people refer to us, like Tony Perry, who's known to all of you. And social workers recommend us. We've got quite a good relationship with them. And also the strongest is with the job centre, because I have a drop in there once a month, tomorrow morning actually. So where I meet where they give direct their clients to me.
Okay, it's a yes from me. Yeah, okay. Take it forward. Over to you, Hannah.
Great, the Blue House. Is that right? Is that what's it next? Yeah. So this is £3,000 from the Blue House, which is to fund the kitchen and the common room in the Blue House, so a shared space at the heart of the Arms House, used regularly by both residents and some local community groups. The kitchen equipment is becoming less dependable. It's insufficient for the demands of users, with the decor, carpets and furniture all long past the end of their intended life. So it's to fund a refurb and repairs.
Anna, I think it's 2.5 they've asked for, not 3.
Oh.
Am I right? Okay, I got it down as 2.5 on here.
Fine. 2,500. There were no questions put to them. Is anybody from the Blue House here or online? No. Yep.
I think the Blue House is an amazing asset to Frome, and it's something we should be supporting in this way, particularly as they're looking at opening up that facility to use by wider community groups.
else? Some nods, Anne? Yes, okay, take it forward. Jackdaws Music Education Trust.
Okay, Jackdaws. There is somebody online from Jackdaws who's joined us. This is a project working in partnership with another national charity, the Music Man Project, to create and deliver a new activity at Jackdaws for school leavers or young adults with SEND. They're requesting £3,000 out of a total cost of £9,101. There weren't actually any questions prepared for them, but they are here online if anybody did want to.
Anyone have any questions for them?
I've no specific questions.
Okay.
I think when I read through it, it didn't appear to be impacting a huge number of people.
My point exactly. And being slightly out of Frome, I think this might be one we might have to put back for a second application maybe at a later stage. Really sorry, but unless anybody disagrees.
I think it's on the no list.
With regret. Okay. So I'm very sorry if you're online, but it's, I think on this occasion, because we have so many other, I won't say more deserving, but certainly slightly more local, more far-reaching, I think in this instance we have to say that maybe you'd like to apply at another stage.
So I think if it's a no, then you need
It's a
to
no.
vote on it.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thanks. Music for miniatures.
Okay, this is anybody from Music for Miniatures online or in the room? So this is for 4 professionally performed baby-friendly classical concerts per year for 2 years, performed at Rise in Frome. This is relaxed 45-minute concerts designed specifically for families with babies, toddlers and preschoolers, offering high-quality live music in a calm, sensory-rich, supportive environment. And they're asking for £1,516 at a total cost of just under £4,000. And they did have some questions which they did answer. So when will we see Frome sessions in Frome advertised on your website? And they'll be programmed for the school holidays of August 2026 to October half term 2026. And the holidays in the following year. And it says, the other question was, please can you explain the process as to who decides how people qualify for the subsidised pay what you decide tickets? And they will be offered specifically to families receiving universal credit. Qualification is based on self-declaration at the point of booking. They do not require families to provide evidence or documentation. And there's a bit more information about that you've all seen.
I think, with regret really, as somebody who's taught a lot of toddler and preschool drama and music classes, I think there was a sense that perhaps we're quite well serviced with maybe similar kinds of things in Frome. Not that it isn't wonderful and not that there aren't unique things about it, particularly the classical side of it, but I think that was the sense that perhaps we are well represented in this area, both privately and in volunteer work and charity work perhaps as well.
Agreed. I think that was something we discussed. Yeah, absolutely. So are we all happy to put that one aside? Okay. The Kindness Connection is next.
Yeah, so the Kindness Connection, Willow, this funding will pay to set up a new intergenerational group run by the Kindness Connection CIC to take place in Longleat Court, a 47-room retirement building in Frome next to Victoria Park. The Kindness Connection is an inclusive mix and art group for young children, their parents, carers and care home residents, facilitated by community musician and early years specialist Willow Harwood, who is here. Can you answer these questions in the flesh that have been pre-prepared? So one is, please confirm how much, if anything, the private care home residents are contributing to these sessions. Can someone get Willow a mic?
Thank you. I've actually lost my voice.
No.
I'll try and croak my way through. So there's zero activities budget for this home. They don't have a budget, unlike the other care homes. So the residents of the home would be invited to make a voluntary contribution, and the families would also be invited to make a voluntary contribution, but it would be completely optional because I don't want to attach a stigma to those who can't afford to pay. And having run music groups in Frome for years, I know firsthand that actually quite a lot of parents that really do struggle, they want to reach these, they want to like enrich their children's lives with music, but they can't actually afford. It's kind of a luxury to pay. All these pay-as-you-go groups all add up. So it would be voluntary contributions, which is the case for visiting musicians that go to the home already, have the same thing where they'll kind of pass around a hat, if you will. So it'll be, yeah.
Great. And the other question, well, there were two other questions. One is, have you approached Purple Elephant to link with their service users?
I have through the contact form on their website, but I've not had a reply yet. However, when I was working in a care home last year, some members of staff of Purple Elephant were there, and they already signposted their service users to the group that I was doing at the home at the time. So I'm sure that that would be a mutually beneficial link. But I do have vast networks of families with young children in Frome who I think for recruiting people, service users, will not be an issue at all for me. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've got a lot of reach.
And the last question, which I think was lifted from the young people's questions from the round, which was with regards to safeguarding. If a concern was raised during or after a session, what would your process be?
So if it was relating to a resident of the home, I would go directly to the home's manager, the safeguarding lead there. And if it was relating to a young person, my voice, I'd go to the children's social care and email on you can find the email address online. Sorry, my voice isn't doing great.
Thank you.
Any comments?
Can I just say I really love this one. It's intergenerational, hyperlocal, Longleat Court, something really different. I just think it's, I think it's really
Thank
good.
I have to say that when I read through this, I love the idea. I like the idea, but I have to say I'm sorry I didn't think it was a strong enough application. And the concerns I have, which I raised when we were discussing panel and committee, was I have to say I'm quite concerned about the safeguarding. I'll call it a policy because it's in there, but I think there are some issues that would raise some red flags for me.
Would you like to clarify what they are?
Well, I can't go through every single detail, but I just felt that the safeguarding was not specific. It was very general. It seemed at places where it might have just been taken from other policies and not specific for that setting and for those children and elderly, because safeguarding is the whole generational age range. And I feel with my background and experience, I didn't feel it was strong enough.
Okay, so more in depth.
Any thoughts from anyone here? I mean, it's lovely to think that young and old people have the opportunity to get together. So from that perspective, it's a nice idea. But I'm, as you say, I'm not sure whether the application was quite strong enough this time around. I think there were a few doubts that arose. So, Steve, any thinking?
Like Fiona, I did like the intergenerational part of it.
Yeah.
Didn't pick up on the safeguarding part of it, but yeah, I did like that part of it, I have to admit. Much else to say?
Well, we seem to be quite split on this, don't we, really? So we have to leave it into the next one. Okay. We're not knocking many out here, guys. We're still going to have a lot to consider on the way around. So, okay. Young people Frome.
Young People Froome, it's for Multicultural Froome. Lenka, are you here for that? Yeah, hi. So they've now held 7 successful Multicultural Froome festivals. And Froome is a developing town. The demographics are changing with over 65 nationalities in the town. And the Multicultural Froome Festival has become an important event in the calendar. And they're asking for £1,950 out of a total of £3,200.
I like this one. Yes? Yeah, happy to go with it. We'll come back to this one. Okay.
Okay, Songs for the Memory.
I love this. I've been to them 2 or 3 times, and I love the whole idea of it. So, very much in support of that. NeuroConnect, CIC.
Yeah, just to say, there are 2 people online from Songs for the Memory, but there aren't actually any questions. There was one question. Do you want to ask it or not? They don't need to. No, that's fine. Okay. So NeuroConnect CIC. Is there anyone in the room from? No online. Joe Whiting. Okay, great. So it's a project to deliver a series of inclusive therapeutic wellbeing sessions for families in Froome, including parents and carers, children and young people. Sessions open to families to attend together or separately, offering flexible support that reflects individual needs and circumstances, designed for families experiencing stress, trauma, SEND-related challenges and emotionally based school avoidance. Sessions will provide a supportive group environment that provides emotional regulation, connection and self-care through a holistic and neuro-inclusive approach. They're asking for £3,000, which is the total cost of the project. There weren't any pre-prepared questions, but Joe is online if you wanted to ask any.
I didn't have any questions as such, but I didn't feel it was an application that I would support. It just didn't feel like it was reaching enough people, given the amount of money that we're trying to share spread so thinly. So I'd say this is a no to me.
It did feel as though there were quite a lot of other people competing in this arena, really, one way or another, and providing services. That's the challenge, I think, really. That was the nub. Yeah. So we'll have to vote on this one, guys. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Citizens' advice.
Citizens' Advice are applying for. Is there anybody from Citizens' Advice in the room or online? Nope. So they're applying for a grant towards responding to the increasing complexity of benefit advice needs in Froome by creating and delivering a bespoke volunteer training course for disability benefits to enable volunteers to provide allocated disability benefit appointments, helping residents make and manage their claim effectively. They're asking for £2,652.
It feels as though this is a pretty essential service, really, so we'll come back again to that one, Hannah.
Froome Carnival Committee, we have Mandy and Sharon here. So this is, they're applying for £1,999 out of a total cost of £15,500. There was a question around whether the carnival's happening and well, if you're here, if you want to add some detail to that question.
Thank you.
No, it's all right, it's on.
Yes, at the beginning of the year, we had some major problems with our Chief Marshal, so we thought we weren't going to be able to run for that purpose, as well as the finances. The few of us that put on all the events were really tired from doing that and felt that we might need to take a break for sort of those 2 main reasons, really. But since then, we've had lots of offers of help, and we've had a very useful meeting with Hannah and Rachel, who made us look at things in a slightly different way. So that whereas each year, I think you mentioned it last year, Anita, that you give us money and then we give it out. So we're thinking now of changing our constitution so that the money we raise on Carnival Day can be used to help put the carnival on.
Fund the carnival in the future.
Yes.
Yes.
And also that if you were to give us a grant, Hannah suggested that we could employ a fundraiser for a period of time that would show us the new ways of thinking about it in a totally different way, that we would, that person would go out to organisations around the town, perhaps the new building firms that are building all the houses, because some other carnivals have got some money that way. And it's our centenary next year. So if we're at all possible, we do want to put the carnival on this year in maybe a slightly smaller format, depending on how things go, and then build up to a really good one next year for our centenary.
Thank you. Well, it's good to hear that side of things now. And maybe this is a case of saying we'd sort of almost start again and build it from there.
Yeah.
But very good to hear that the money that is collected on the floats and what have you in Frome will stay in Frome and help fund the carnival itself, because I know you've been excellent at giving out to other causes, but sometimes those people on the receiving end of that have not been Frome people.
Yes, they have to be. They have to be local Frome people. Our constitution is that it has to be the old Frome urban.
Regardless of whether they come from Redstock or wherever. So,
No,
okay.
they wouldn't.
All right. Anyway, yes. What's the thinking? Yes? Okay. We'll come back to this then. Okay. Thank you. Mind Your Music.
Okay, Mind Your Music is a summer programme of music workshops for those struggling with mental health difficulties in Frome. The workshop programme will culminate in a performance event for friends and family and general public. The sessions run at Trinity Church in Frome. They're asking for £3,000 for a total cost of £3,300. But no,
Again,
two
for me-
people online. There weren't any there weren't any pre-prepared questions for them, but there are two people online that could answer if you did have any.
Sadly for me, it may sound very harsh, but this felt like another application for something very similar of other offers that are going on in the town with a similar service. So from that perspective, I think really it might be one that we might have to ask to reapply in the future. Are you in agreement? Yes, okay. So apologies for those of you online. Frome Town Women's FC.
I think you have to vote on that, sorry.
Oh, we did.
Oh, you just did. Oh, it was so fast.
we did
Okay.
Getting late in the evening now.
All right, the next one is Frome Town Women's FC. Is there anybody online? No.
I think it's training night.
Oh, it's training night tonight. Okay. So the Frome Town Women will deliver a season-long programme of inclusive women's football activities designed to increase participation, reduce barriers and strengthen the local female football pathway. There were a couple of questions that they were asked. So one is, what other grants or funding have you applied for? And they've said, as a volunteer-led women's football team, they actively seek funding opportunities where appropriate. At present, they don't have any live grant applications under consideration. Their ability to pursue funding is undertaken on a best endeavours basis and is dependent on the capacity of their small team of core volunteers, all of whom work more than full-time alongside their roles with the club. So the team's financial position has been made significantly more fragile following the collapse of the CBS structure, which has removed a layer of stability and increased uncertainty around the wider football environment locally. Alongside grant funding, we continue to pursue local sponsorship and small-scale community fundraising to support ongoing costs and reduce the financial burden currently being personally carried by our core volunteers. We are, however, limited by their ability and availability. And the other question was, are spaces on these sessions limited in any way? And they have said that training sessions are not capped and operate on an open and inclusive basis for women and girls aged 15 years and over, subject to appropriate safeguarding requirements. The only practical limitation applies to match days, where squad sizes are governed by standard league regulations, 11 players plus permitted substitutes. Maintaining open access to training is central to our aim of increasing participation in women's sport locally and ensuring that women and older girls in Frome have a consistent, supportive and affordable opportunity to play football. They're seeking £5,000, I forgot to say, out of a total cost of £8,720.
Thank you, Hannah.
Consider.
Fiona?
Yeah, just wanted to say that I just think it's a really strong application, and I hope that we can support them.
Yeah.
I think we all feel that. We will revisit this one actually and come back to it. Thank you.
Okay, Frome Community Production CIC. Hi. So this is for Frome FM, produces and broadcasts some shows from 2 studios in rented office space at the Town Hall. So Frome FM have been steadily updating its studio broadcasting equipment as part of a long-term master plan to transform from a largely analogue-based architecture to a digital setup. And so they are asking for £3,000 out of a total cost of £5,800. They had a question about the number of listeners and how they're collating that information, which they answered by email. But did you want to?
I'll give you a summary and I'll keep it really brief. So, yeah, my name's Tim Hardy. So I'm a director and chair at Frome FM. So the question was around how many listeners do we have? And it's quite a common question for us. As a community radio station, we're not like public broadcasters or commercial broadcasters who essentially can pay for ARJAR, which is a proper survey system that the BBC run, and they charge for that. So we don't do that. So I can never give an explicit answer to how many listeners we have, which is quite a challenge. Tacitly, we monitor our website, we monitor streams. So for example, website analytics, we get about 8,500 unique visitors every month at Frome FM. We put all our most of our shows on Mixcloud for basically going back and listening to that at a later date. We get about 15,000 listeners to those shows every year. And then Instagram, we've got round about just under 1,787 followers. And we get about 5,500 views. We had that over the last 80 days, but that was when we responded to that question. But on average, it's about that. So there's a load of stats for you, but the reality is our purpose is not necessarily based, we're not there just to get listener numbers. We're there to provide a platform for community groups, Frome itself, Frome people, young and old, to get on the radio and get all the experience and all the knowledge that they can from that experience. So yeah, long answer there. I can't give you the actual numbers of listeners fundamentally. But while I am here, any community groups that want to get involved and want to use our platform, we don't charge community groups for anything. So if you want to advertise or anything else, just come and see us and we can help produce an advert and get it out there. Stop.
Thank you.
I think we're all nodding here because I think actually Frome FM is a great service to the town. So yeah. Okay, so we're coming back to that one. Thank you.
Shared Earth Learning, is there anybody online? Okay, so the Shared Earth Wellbeing Group was formed to promote wellbeing through connection with nature, sorry, it's getting late. It reaches adults who are suffering from isolation and those who would like to improve their confidence and self-esteem. So demand has increased since COVID. The group is limited to 12 participants who are typically a mix of ages and abilities, including people who are struggling with loneliness, mental ill health, in recovery from drug and alcohol use, have learning difficulties, as well as people who are homeless or refugees. They're asking for £1,938 out of a total cost of £2,675, and there weren't any pre-prepared questions.
Thank you. Sounds as though they should be linking up with Frog Life, doesn't it? Any thoughts? Not too much support by the sound of things for this one.
I think there are areas covering this kind of thing already and limited to a group of 12 participants. And I know each individual is really, really important, but in the scheme of things, it's a difficult one. So
Not this time. Not this time. Okay, so we would ask them to reapply, I think. So can we take a vote? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so baby connections, we have Alice in the room. So the Baby Link project will build on the success of initial pilot funded by a one-off grant from Frome Town Council. The project was created in recognition that there's a significant gap in support for young parents in our town, despite the fact that most young parents face multiple disadvantages. In the next phase of the project, we'll continue and expand our core offer of outreach at existing parent and baby toddler groups, as well as flexible, bespoke one-to-one support for parents aged 25 and under. So they're asking for £3,000 out of a total cost of £12,000 for 1 year. And they had one question, which are you happy to answer live in the room, Alice? Yeah. Which was, have you approached Lenka at Fair Froome to refer people to the baby bank?
Is it on? Is it on? Yeah. Yeah, one of our first families actually needed a baby stair gate, and I approached Lenka, but actually someone else donated one. So, but yeah, I do know Lenka.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, happy to come back to that one, thank you.
Okay, Sustainable Froome. Is anybody online representing? Okay, so this is both Green and Healthy Froome and Sustainable Froome have reached a vital point of transformation. This is an eight-month project which will coalesce both legacies into a fresh community-led action in climate. Working title: Future Froome. It's requesting £3,000 out of a total cost of £4,650, and there were a couple of questions. Was there somebody online? I think Henry was there for a while, wasn't he? He's disappeared. So I will tell you what their answers were. So the end date for Green and Healthy has been known for some time. Can you clarify the reasons why the application has not been made before now? So the answer was, it would not have been particularly beneficial for Sustainable Froome to put in this application while Green and Healthy Froome was in full delivery in the final year of Lottery's Climate Action funded programme through 3 partners. Community-led action on climate has been largely focused and held around the funded projects and programmes in Green and Healthy Froome, particularly through Adventure's Future Shed, where groups and projects have been receiving support and small pots of funding through the programme. Adventure is unable to resource future community-led climate action without further funding. This picture has emerged over the last 6 months, but particularly towards the end of 2025. So the timing of an application now to continue and build on the momentum and shift this back out to be held in the community in a broader, more equitable way makes sense. If Sustainable Froome had applied last year for the Communities Grant, it would have been too early in the process to know what the legacy and outcomes of the lottery-funded programme would be. Now is the best time to do it.
Okay, Fiona, you've been very concerned and tied up with Green and Healthy Froome. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think I should say I've spoken with Peter McFadden a little bit about it, and I do know a bit about it. It's definitely what sort of need I think Sustainable Froome has felt, I think many of us would say this, a bit sort of lost over the last sort of few years, perhaps as a result of Green and Healthy Froome, and that's maybe an unintended consequence of that funding and Adventure sort of stepping up and Future Shed. And so I think it is definitely the right course of action, what is being proposed here, and for it to sort of Sustainable Froome to sort of find its place again and sort of become that sort of hub. And I think what they're proposing is great. I guess I have slight concerns as to whether it's really being led by the community or whether it's sort of slightly, a few individuals, and that makes me slightly nervous. But I still think it's probably the best solution long term for sort of this sort of model going forward, with Sustainable Froome becoming the umbrella again for climate action, community climate-led action in Froome.
Thank you. Okay. Is Anne?
My feeling is that it's not right yet, and I would say ask them to reapply next round.
I struggled to see what they were going to spend the money on.
Okay.
Based on the application. So.
And I think talking about some of the things that you talked about as well, Fiona, it may be that we need to talk further with them and see if we can actually get things a little bit tighter for them before they can reapply again next year.
I would also say I think that this is going. I'm looking at my piles, and there's going to be tough decisions coming up, and I think it's going to come down to priorities. So I'm okay with that.
Okay. So can we take a vote on that, please? Okay, thank you. Open storytellers.
Nobody here? Okay, Open Storytellers, thank you. They've recently hosted a Somerset-wide Festival of Voices, bringing self-advocates from the learning disabled community together with audiences of decision makers from across health and social care. along community and government. They want to do a smaller version in our hometown, focusing on Frome and our community here. They will run a series of workshops led by 3 of the Open Storytellers team with learning difficulties. They will explore self-advocacy and rights in creative and innovative ways, supporting people without a voice to be heard. The creative output from these workshops will then showcase through an exhibition and event, which they'd love to do at the town hall. Will encourage audiences to learn new ways of listening to a community that can otherwise be overlooked, a community that wants to shape its own future and can advocate boldly for it. So they're asking for £3,000, and there weren't any pre-prepared questions.
I love
Because
these people.
Yes,
we want
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes,
All right.
please.
Thank you.
Okay. Everyone needs pockets next. I think, Tamara, are you online for Everyone Needs Pockets? So this is a project, Everyone Needs Pockets would continue to weave together a new neighbourhood scale clothing and textile culture that nurtures and restores the health of our community in Frome and the planet. Our collective aim that drives us is to reduce textile waste in our town, educate about the issues created by the clothing and textile industry, and empower people with skills to reuse, repair and rewear, with a focus on fostering connection and greater well-being at the same time. They're asking for £3,000 from a total of 4,074. There weren't any questions, but Tamara is online and Fiona's got her hand up. So,
Fiona?
did you not mean to?
No?
have your hand
Okay.
up?
I have to say, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to say the same as you. I like the idea of networking together organisations that are working in textile reuse. It's an enormous carbon footprint of the fashion.
A great growing
Yes.
interest, isn't it, for a
So-
lot of people?
Please, can we put this on there?
Absolutely.
Yes, pile.
Along with that. If everybody's in agreement?
Not particularly. I think it could be privately funded by companies that make clothes. But I'm outvoted.
Okay. Yeah, we will come back to that one then. Thank you, Tracy. So, Frome Medical Practice.
Free medical practice, I think we have Helen and Alice online for them. This is a project to promote healthy phone habits and awareness of the impact on mental health and well-being of excess scrolling, in particular focusing on young people and their parents by promoting scroll-free September and supporting our local community to take part. They'll be creating a healthy phone habits toolkit for healthcare workers to share with patients, accessible on their website for the Frome community. They're asking for £2,075 out of a total of 4,150, and there weren't any pre-prepared questions, but there are people online if you want to ask them anything.
I struggle to support this. I feel uncomfortable at the idea of spending the town's money on Frome medical practice services. It should be funded directly. It's a great thing to try and do, but I can't see justification for us spending the precept on this.
I'm not sure it's strong enough. I don't really see the main drive of this, and I think also it smacks a little bit of telling people what to do, what they shouldn't do, particularly families. And I echo what Andy said as well, so I can't support this.
I'm really, apologies, I'm going to have to declare an interest on this one, I think, through Family Connection. So I'm going to back out.
Already 3 against, so I think, are you happy to ask them maybe to resubmit another time? Yeah. So apologies from Medical Centre, but not on this occasion, I'm afraid. Very sad that we have to do this sometimes, but that's the way of it this evening, so. Thank you. All in favour? Steve?
I'm going to, sorry, yeah,
Okay.
I should declare an interest, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I think I should declare an
Okay.
interest. So
We've got 2 more to go. The pod.
Okay, so is there anybody from the pod? No, they can't make it tonight. Okay, so the pod team will take over the delivery of the pop-up cafe and community drop-in space every Thursday at the new Key Centre managed by FTC. This application covers a 6-month period. The opening times will cover 6 hours and will be led to some extent by learning from the consultation at the Key Centre on the 29th of January. And so they're asking for £3,000 out of a total of 8,080. There weren't any pre-prepped questions.
Love the pod.
Yeah, it's a yes.
Sorry, yes? Okay.
And last but by no means least, the Good Heart. And so we have Alison in the room, and the application is seeking the support of Frome Town Council to be able to keep the Good Heart open on weekday lunchtimes as a volunteer-run affordable cafe, drop-in and information hub for the local community. They're asking for £2,640 out of a total of £4,334.
It's a yes from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So I think at this stage we need to do a quick review because we have actually declined. We've said a yes to a lot, yes. Well, it is so hard. I mean, this is what it was like in the first run. Very, very hard because we're almost sort of digging to find reasons for people to reapply. Sorry? Yes, we have. Out of 28, we've still got 21. So, but is there any possibility I don't know, can we do a quick toss-up of what money we've got left, Sian?
Well, at the moment, we haven't awarded anything, so
No.
we've still got our, that still leaves us with 61,000 twice.
It's what, 61?
Yeah, it still leaves us with twice what we've.
61,000 being requested and 31 in the pot.
Question from the applicants.
I'm just wondering if some of the applications are aware of the Frome lottery that's coming up, because they can apply to them for things. That's the word, capital and material costs.
I can't remember off the top of my head what the limit is for the Frome Community Lottery. Do you know?
They're not very specific on their website, but they prioritise applications for under £500. But they will. Last year they funded Frome Birth Talk for 800 and something pounds.
Okay.
So
around the 500.
Yeah.
Fiona, have you got a question?
I was just going to make a general comment that I think we need a bit of a strategy as to how we're going to do it. I think it would be very easy for us to kind of just try and split it between all of them because we think they're all great. But I think the issue if we do that is that it's almost like it doesn't help anyone. It helps everyone, but it doesn't help anyone. And what will happen is that then all of these people will then be still looking for funding and will apply for the same funding pots. And it's just using up more people's time and energy. So as hard as it's going to be, I personally think that I think I would rather that we sort of focused on fully funding our like top however many it is, those that we really want to, and then partially funding a few more. And as horrible as it's going to be saying no to some, because I think then that means that then those people that we say no to are not then going to be in competition with everyone who we said yes to as much as possible. I think otherwise we're just going to kind of create a funding frenzy. But it's going to be really difficult. And I don't know whether a good place to start would be looking at those ones that we really want to fund fully and then looking at what we've got left for everything else. But that's just a suggestion.
Thank you. Any other thoughts on approach before we kick it off?
Could I make a suggestion, please, also? I would like to request that you consider the applications from those who are here represented first, so that we could be occasionally going the ones who are not.
We've always said, Lockhart, I mean, much as I appreciate what you're saying, we've always thought it's perhaps not the fairest way to approach this. It does give advantage to people who are prepared to come out, I grant that, but I'm not sure that would sit comfortably with us, if I'm honest. Am I okay in saying that? Yeah, okay.
If we maybe look at them, because they have all been ranked both by the committee and by the
panel,
advisory panel. Should we take them in order of ranking now that we've said yes? And see if that gives us the ones that we want to
We can do.
fund fully.
Well, let's take a quick. We're going to take a quick 5-10 minute chance to chat now. If you'd like to make yourselves another cup of tea, or if you choose to go, it's entirely up to you. But we will be sort of debating for a little while.
I think for me that is the point of ranking, because if we had 100.
Alison's just asked if there's any point, if there's not going to be any further questions, people can stay for the result, but there's no, if they want to just...
By all means,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't feel you have to stay. There won't be any further questions.
There won't be any further questions to anyone.
They're welcome to stay, but there won't be any more discussion time.
Yeah, just very quickly, you are all very welcome to stay. There won't be any more... Sorry, you're very, very welcome to stay, but there won't be any more questions that we need to ask of you. And clearly, if you are part of the allocation that's successful this evening, we will be in touch with you very, very quickly. So if you want to take this opportunity to go, by all means, feel free to do that. But you're very welcome to stay if you so want.
Could I just clarify, so that means we won't be able to say a few words at school?
No, not anymore. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the point of the ranking, really, because if we had £100,000 to give away, then we'd have been able to satisfy everybody, wouldn't we? So the point of the ranking, to me, I don't know, is exactly that we felt that some of these were the ones that we would give preference to if we had to make a choice, and now we do have to make a choice.
Do very much, whereas others I think there's that in there as well. The ranking is one thing, I think also the effect that that has
I got 4 out of 5 yeses. And in fact,
I was just going to introduce myself from Freem FM because I was listening to everyone's pitches basically. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can help promote, we can... Yeah. 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 Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds... I mean, we're lucky we've got like... well, we've got 8 community talk shows. We've got 3 that are very much and that's gone from 1 about 2 or 3 years ago. So we've done quite well in terms of the number of shows. And they're always on the lookout for promoting. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We should collaborate more because you know, we've got quite a few. Ultimately, we're well aware we don't go out and sell ourselves enough. So we're in the process of. Oh, I mean, we're all volunteers. We're like. Yeah. No, understood. But yeah, I'll give you my details if you've got a pen, and I'll take yours as well if possible. So if you, so my name's if you write, so my name's Tim Hardy. Cool, and Hardy. No worries. I'll give you my personal one, then I know it goes straight to me at gmail.com. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you what, I'll write it, because I've got another one at Gmail, which is probably easier. It's Tim Hardy, and this is Tiz. Yep. Yeah, we've got our breakfast shows 2 hours every day, and we could do with people coming in on that. Yeah, so my daughter went down. I think the other day. That was what night was it? Was it a Sunday night? Like tea time and yeah, it's in the what's it called? The Awesome Studio. Yeah. We run our quiz there actually, so we got a quiz on April the 18th, and that venue is so good because you can plug everything in. They've got everything kind of there, seating and everything, and yeah, you can do a really good audio-visual quiz, and it must pump out from there. If you've got a sound system in there, because it's like. Yeah. No. I mean, we've just started another thing called Live in Froome at. So we're going out and recording live music. So we went out and recorded, there's an organisation called Greens Block Beats, which is like an electronic group. They do something at the Lucky Chance Theatre Company. So we were able to record the ambient through a bit of kit and then take a recording off the mixer, mix the two together, and then we're going to basically put that out on the stations to try and get more local venues to promote local musicians. Because most local musicians aren't too worried about, copyright, so to speak. They're more than happy to give rights for us to play their music. So, and then we can promote their events and promote their music. Yeah. But it costs us a lot to run the organisation. We pay about £14,000 to £15,000 a year just to operate, with licence costs and PPL and various other things. And we basically fund ourselves through membership, so people pay to be a member and then volunteer. Probably, I wasn't involved then, but it definitely hit us loads. We lost a lot of members during COVID. Managed to bounce back, and we're slowly going up, but we're still not quite on a break even when it comes to equipment funding. So when stuff starts to go wrong, we had 2 bids into the National Lottery last year, and we went in on a reasonable number, then we went back in on a reduced number, and we still got declined, and we were a bit gutted really, because we weren't really being greedy. We felt like we'd put in a very compelling bid, but the response we got back was community. I think they've been stitched by a load of community radio stations that they fund, and then they have a different option. The trouble is that a lot of radio stations, their model is they get grant funding and they use that to pay their operating costs. And it doesn't work because they pay for a station manager and they pay a fee, a fee-earning person, and they'll pay for it. And it just doesn't work like that. You can't do it. You have to do it through another model, really, where it's a membership model. It's the only way you can do it for a long term. But yeah, fingers crossed we'll get something from this exercise. I'm just glad we got through the first round, even if we get a small contribution.
One of our friends, they were saying that it was just 2004 simulation. So I'm going to be doing other classes. It'd be good to them. Also, I just want to say quite a few things about like there's people that struggle to come together. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's so many serious
Super. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, the girls are great. No, but that's just... She just started that. But she just. Some things don't have to go. You don't have to set up a COC every time you do it.
No, definitely.
Work with other people. Everyone's just then repeating the same paper.
Yeah.
There's so much change. Yeah, the music's
Yeah, I have to say the biggies, I'm surprised at, I have to say.
yeah, and I'm not being funny, but also we hear you. They're just spread. They spread themselves.
I think the other, we got £18,000 from Ofcom to fund a fundraiser for a year. So I got a freelance fundraiser in, and 18,000 was, 2 days a week max. Money from it, you really struggled because people haven't got the money to put in. People can't afford to run an advert, they can't afford, so commercial advertising isn't a revenue stream for us. Most businesses can't afford that. So all we did really, it helped us get our bid material together and things like that. Helped loads there, helped us get our value proposition right so we can have a conversation with people a bit better. But it didn't, we're still struggling.
No, sorry.
Just because.
Okay, folks, I think we're ready to restart. Hopefully get finished within the next 25 minutes.
To try and kick this right back down until 9:30 and then see how we go. But we're going to actually do this. There is some sort of ranking that we established at the pre-consultation meeting that we had. So what we're going to do now is, of those remaining people, we will take them in rank order and make a decision very quickly on whether it should be the full amount or a partial fund. Is that okay? So can we take the first one on the list, please, guys? The first one in the ranking order?
So some of them are combined rankings, by the way, so we've got like three.
Yeah.
So we've got the pod.
The pod. Okay. Requesting £3,000.
Funding full.
In full? All in agreement? Okay, thank you.
Can we vote at the end? Can we just vote at the end rather than do them all together?
But you do it so quickly.
I'll propose.
I mean, we could.
No, what I was going to suggest is, can we just vote
Collectively?
Collectively at the end.
Are you happy to do that? Okay. So we're saying in full?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Number two?
The Good Heart.
Good Heart, who are looking for...
The amount, please.
No, 2,640.
Yeah.
In full?
In full,
Okay, in full for that one. Number three?
Citizens Advice Somerset.
Extend, they want 2,652. All or partial? It is, it is, it is. All right, okay. So if we, Steve, how are you feeling about that one?
No. How much, what's the
Cost
of the project?
Total cost was 26,000, but that's across Somerset. So this is 2,652. They've secured funding from other councils where the hubs are located, Taunton and Yeovil, and they're seeking funding from Bridgewater.
Do you think we could go 2,000 for them?
2,000.
Would you be in agreement with 2,000? Yeah. Okay.
Can I say I would fund that fully? I just think if we start cutting off small amounts, they're going to have to look for funding elsewhere, and I'm not sure it's going to be helpful. I would just say I think the benefit advice is so needed, but I can't.
Yeah. Sorry, Fiona. We hear you, but it's not part of the voting process, I'm afraid. Sorry. So we're going to call that one 2,000.
Young People Froome for Multicultural Festival.
1950. Happy? In full?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Holy Trinity Church Froome.
Oh, again, that's another. Holy Trinity Church want 3,000 for the debt advice. So, are we keeping a total of this? Can you give us a shout where we are now, Sean? Okay. So, are we saying in full for the debt service?
Yeah, I think that's it's a good investment of our money.
Okay. So does that take us up to 12,000, Sean?
4,590. Yeah.
Okay.
Froome Town Women.
Yeah. No, I have an issue with this only in as much as because we are struggling to help so many people here. The only point I would put forward is should we hold it to what we are calling the maximum for other applicants at 3,000. I know that's not exactly what they need, but it might be a way that it will help us.
I personally would go just halve it, 2,500.
Halve it? No, there's not much difference between 2 or 5 and 3. Steve?
Yeah, either.
Well, if we're at yes, if we're already at 12.5 and go 2.5 for them, okay.
Songs for the Memory.
Could we call? I'd quite like to give them something, but I think this almost is a case for partial.
1,500.
1,500. Yes, I know. But I wonder if we give them 1,000. Well, what does everybody think? Can I have a vote on that? Yeah. Okay. So, Songs for the Memory on 1,000.
Open Storytellers.
Yeah, I love that. So, what are they asking for? 3,000. It could be full, or we could actually give them 2. It depends how strongly you feel. I mean, I love them. Yeah, I think their work is wonderful, and I think, Robin particularly.
Moves on to other things and sustains and brings more. I think it produces more all the time, and it produces people who go on to.
And it's actually getting much wider acknowledgement nationally, I think, now. So put it as full. Okay.
We Hear You.
Oh, I think that's a must. We hear you.
We're currently at 19,090.
Yeah. Before we hear you.
Before we hear.
Okay.
And they're asking for 3,000.
And I feel that should be a full. We hear you.
I don't know because I get the sense that a lot of the town.
You used to, Mike.
I hope I'm right in that I get a sense that there's a lot of support coming forward, and I don't know, it's difficult, isn't it?
Well, except that I do hear that. I think there is a lot of support in the town because I think everybody desperately wants to have the service. I think the challenge is we know that they can be funded from April, but they have 4 weeks to get through. And if they don't reach their target, they have to let councillors go. And I think as a council, it would be foolhardy of us to risk losing that service in the town for the sake of cutting back or partially funding it. It feels to me as though we should be fully funding this one. Yeah? Absolutely. Okay. So We Hear You gets everything. So how much do we have left now?
About 10.
Just over 10.
Okay. So the next on the list,
Everyone needs pockets.
I think there are other things around going on like this. So everyone needs pockets is 3,000. It's like a big ask, and I think there are other things going on in the town in that area with the women's shed and all sorts of things. And I think maybe that's something we could ask them to resubmit next time. Any thinking? It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
It seemed to hit a lot of our objectives, Anita, quite honestly, you know, from the point of view of how we want these to it. And maybe can we just give them 1,000?
I'd be happy with 1,000. Yeah.
Give them
okay.
some advice on how to get private money in instead.
Okay, £1,000. And
Should I go on?
yeah,
Yep. Somerset Artworks.
which one? Sorry.
Somerset
Art.
Artworks. This was the project with the YMCA.
That's so tough. I love the youth stuff. But there are other people providing youth services at the moment. Much as it pains me to say that.
Can I just sound that there are the youth services, but there's nowhere near enough.
They are what, sorry,
Like, there's nowhere near enough youth services. Like we know that there's not enough young people
yeah.
in Frome. So I don't think it should be full, but I'm just sort of making a case for it being partial.
Can we offer 2? Could we offer 2? Sorry, Tracy, could you use the mic?
Half.
Half. We go half. So they'd get 1,500.
We're going to be struggling for time, I'm sorry. But
So how much have we spent now, Sean? 1,500, yeah. Mm.
Adventure Frome.
What's that in the ranking now?
just be silent.
Just won't vote. Oh, so Adventure Frome was Frome Base, the reuse shop in the Welsh Mill Hub.
What number ranking is this?
It came in at 11.
Okay.
But we,
So we've done the top 10, we're saying.
yeah, the rankings are a guide, not a.
Okay.
I'm slightly concerned that we might be falling prey of our own advice, which was to try and fully fund some things and not part, you know what I mean? Not spread it too thinly. I think we might be falling foul of our own guideline to ourselves. I guess just be mindful of it, or maybe I'm saying it to myself.
I mean, there are some things that we've heard about this evening, actually, that we would like to revisit. I mean, the carnival, the festival, those things that are very much part of annual Frome life. And I just wonder if there can be a token at least in that direction, if not the full amount. So if you look at the Frome Festival, who are asking for 3,000, and the Carnival Committee asking, well, we say 2,000. Do we have any thoughts on either of those? Could we offer half in each case?
Do you want to come back to
Sorry?
Yeah, we'll just finish an adventure.
Okay.
I'm slightly concerned now that we are entering the realms of playing one off against the other. I think we need to do them individually, one by one, as we go through the list. I don't think we can start putting two up and then decide between them or together. I think we have to be very careful there.
So Adventure are looking for 3,000.
Do you want to come back to it, or?
No, I'd like to give Adventure something. I think the share shot. I think the reuse. I think it ticks all the boxes that we set up to do. So I'd like to.
So if we go,
Or whatever, yeah. 15.
or if we were to go 2?
Or 2, yeah.
Or 2?
Yeah.
Would you be happy to go 2 for Adventure? That end of the table?
We can't vote.
You can't vote. Sorry. Okay. Put them down for 2, Sean. And where are we now?
We're at 26,590, which gives us 5,691 remaining.
Okay.
The next is the Carnival. Carnival, Prüm Carnival.
Looking for 2,000.
Do you want me to tell you what's remaining? So there's Carnival, Dissenters Cemetery, the Blue House, Frog Life, Dorothy House, Baby Connections, Frome Festival, Kindness Connection, Frome FM, and I think that is it.
How many was that you said are still remaining?
Including Adventure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. So, well, excluding Adventure, if we give them 1,500, we've got 9 people to go with.
You gave me including Adventure.
That was including 2,000 for Adventure.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay.
so it's 9.
So it's 9. Okay. We've got 9 people to look at with £5,000 to spare.
Carnival, Dissenters, Blue House, Frog Life, Dorothy House, Baby Connections, Frome Festival, Kindness Connection, and Frome FM.
One way of doing it.
I know
it's fine, but I just think that's a weird way to do it.
Are there, can I suggest something? Are there any that aren't time sensitive? So I'm just wondering whether that's something in terms of sort of pushing it down the road a little bit. But for instance, the Frome Dissenter Cemetery is a sort of a one-off project that maybe could be sort of funded in another round. I'm just wondering whether that's a way of, whereas some of them I think are sort of more like the Multicultural Festival is sort of an event that would happen. I'm just wondering whether that's something to kind of look at.
I certainly hear what you're saying.
The next round would be the autumn, would it?
The ones that are certainly gearing up for within the next 6 months would be the Carnival, I guess, and the festival.
Is Adventure going to go off the ground between now and the next one?
Yeah, it's happening now.
Can we talk about the festival for a second? What you think? Are they looking for 3,000?
I've just noted those down when Hannah read them out. There are some on there which I did say publicly that I wasn't really supporting. I'm not trying to sway anybody, but I'm just saying that there may well be in that 8 or 9 some that, now that we look at them, I've circled 3 that I would be happy not to fund.
Which would those be, Philip?
Well, I don't know whether I should say I think we should just go through the list. I don't think it's fair for me to actually say that now because I don't want to influence anybody. But I'm just thinking that we need to go through them one by one, and then people have their say and people have their vote.
Okay.
I think the point that Fiona raised about time sensitivity is quite interesting because if something is already in place and already serving a purpose and has been successful for various people and might fold without assistance, I guess, we have to take that into account. If something is a new project or a project that possibly could be started on in the autumn rather than started on now or something like that, then that's playing a part in my mind. That's what sort of swayed me when you said about we hear you, is it would be foolish to put something in that position if we felt we could stop it being in that position.
So what's next on the list then, Hannah?
Carnival.
Carnival. Okay. Carnival looking for 2,000. And we've got 5,000 left. Okay.
We're just going to have to come up with a number at this stage for, I think we all recognise how valuable the carnival is, and it sounds like this could be a bit of a turning point for them. So I would like to contribute, let me say 800 as a number, and see how that sits with everybody.
Well, they're looking for 2,000, so, I'd be happy to go half, go 1,000.
Okay.
Yes? Tracy? Yeah? So we go half for the carnival. And the next one?
Dissenter Cemetery.
Much as it pains me to say it, I think that might be perhaps one that is certainly working with volunteers a lot, calling for a lot of volunteers at the moment. Rotary, perhaps people like that can help in that area. So maybe there are other areas in the town they can go to for physical help with that. So maybe we'll have to ask them to reapply another time. So if we take that one out, what would be next?
The Blue House.
Well, is that happening soon? Because that's quite a large project, isn't it?
It is a large project, yeah.
They're looking to raise a lot of money, so I'm just wondering if that can be...
It's a huge refurbishment programme, isn't it?
Capital funding, which does have... There are funding pots for capital funding.
Yeah.
Sources.
So maybe we should suggest they look at other funding sources and reapply. Okay. Everybody happy with that? Okay. Next.
Frog Life, the Dementia and Nature Sessions.
And they were looking for 2,415. Again, I'd be happy to offer 1,000 maybe for something like that. Any other thoughts? Are you happy to go 1,000 for Frog Life? You can't.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where does that leave us, Sean?
3,690.
Okay. Next one, Hannah.
Dorothy House.
Oh. They're asking for 3,000, but again, if we were to offer 1,000,
Well,
maybe
again,
or
we did have that discussion that there may be other ways of supporting what they're trying to do, other spaces that could be available to them. So I wonder if this is one that we actually say,
okay.
look at some other opportunities for premises, wasn't it? Which,
Yeah. Okay.
Baby Connections.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. How many more have we got on the list, Hannah?
So still to come are 3 more: Freem Festival, Kindness Connection, and Freem FM, Freem Community Productions.
Baby Connections. Froome FM.
Baby Connections, Froome Festival, Kindness Connection and Froome FM.
Okay. Yeah, how much was each one requesting?
3,000 for Baby Connections, 3,000 for Froome Festival, 3,000 for Kindness Connection and 3,000 for Froome FM.
Oh, so it's 3,000 everybody wants, and we've only got 3,000.
That's for 4. So, yeah.
It feels to me as though we should be. Sorry, which one are we looking at now?
So it's Baby Connections.
Baby Connections. Any thoughts, anyone?
I wonder if there might be another one in there that we could ask to apply again another time, or help some other way to make more sense of. I wasn't being specific. I was saying another one of the ones that are left. Sorry. Meaning that there'd be more left for the others.
I can't remember the fourth one.
It was 10 grand for the, no, yeah. Well, no, but they're for the young people's.
Kindness Connection.
Just over. I'm sure we can.
Baby Connections, Froome Festival, Kindness Connections, Froome FM.
Can I just say, as tough as this is, if it was me and I can't vote, obviously not in the room.
I think we may have made a decision here. Sorry, Fiona.
I was just going to say, if it was up to me, I know I'm not in the room, I can't vote, but I would split it between Baby Connections and the Kindness Connection, what's left, personally. And that's just based on what I think there is need for, like need rather than, I guess I'm thinking bread rather than roses at the moment, but I understand Tracy's point. That's just me.
Any other thoughts on that front? Because the only thing we've just been discussing is the potential with the 4 remaining who are all quite deserving, that we give them £1,000 each. It takes us £300 or £400 over the budget that we've got, but there is the Mayor's grant of £300 that we could call on to top that up. Would that be a reasonable solution?
My personal view would be that just taking them one at a time, I would like to give Baby Connections 2,000. Discuss what we give the other 2, I can't remember now, Kindness Connection and Froome Festival.
And Froome FM.
Well, sadly, I would say in the scheme of things, that is one I circled, because I would say overall, in terms of impact and everything else, that might be for every application. But that's my suggestion, that's all.
Any other thoughts? Anne?
I'm agreeing with Philip. I think 2 for Baby Connections, and then can't work out how much money we've got left, but split the remainder between Froome Festival and Kindness Connections.
That would be 500 each, really, you're saying?
Yeah.
Andy?
Given my interest in the festival, I'm going to drop out at this point.
Okay.
I think it's important.
So, 2 for Baby Connections, and then split the rest of the pot between.
It would only be 1,500 left in the pot then.
No, you're saying ask Freem FM to reapply another time.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
not saying split between them, are you?
No, between the other two.
Mhm.
Yeah, the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 3,691 remaining. We've got £3,691 remaining in the pot. If we gave 2,000 to Baby Connections, then that would leave £1,691, which would then be £845.50 for the festival and the Kindness Collection.
What would be your thinking on that one, Steve?
I agree with the Baby Connections. Agree with the Froome Festival. I'm not sure about the others at the moment.
You can't have, you can't make a comment. You can't make a comment. Yes.
Well, no, I can. Yeah, I'm not conflicted. Yeah, I'm at this point, I think.
Yeah. Okay. You're still on with 2 for the baby group. Baby Connections.
For Baby Connections, and then, yeah, whether we split it then between 2 or 1. Yeah,
JC?
I'm fine.
I'm wondering if what's happening is we're saying that we're going to split, if we have 2 to Baby Connections and we're going to split the other between 2 people and leave, or 2 organisations and leave the radio station to apply again another time, then are we giving those other 2 a gesture, as it were? Does it really give them what they need? Well, if we're going to give a gesture, then perhaps we give a gesture of 500 to each of those other 3, because do you see what I mean? It's like if it's a gesture payment of goodwill payment rather than an amount of money that's incredibly helpful, then it seems a little bit odd not to just split it between everyone that's left after we've. I think the general feeling is that Baby Connections will probably should have a nearer fuller funding.
Okay. I think certainly, the bit that was talked about in the beginning of fully funding as many as we can that we considered important was the right thing to do, which makes it very tough for those people who are left on the list. But I think ultimately that is the way we're going to have to go. So are we all in agreement of saying that the remaining 5,000 or 3,000, whatever it is there, that 2,000 will go to Baby Connections, and the other 3 remaining people on that list will have the rest of the money split between them? How does that work, Sean?
That is £563.66 each.
Okay. So I'm really sorry for those of you who almost must feel as though you've been overlooked, but I can assure you, you can see how difficult a process this is. It's never an easy way to decide how to do this, regardless of the fact that we have 1 or 2 meetings prior to this meeting to have discussions. So tricky time, but thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with us and for taking that long. If you wish to go, then please do. We're just going to have a last vote. Everybody in favour of all those decisions? Yes. Okay. All on. Unanimous. Thank you. And thank you very much for bearing with us. Okay. Good night.